Hey, what's up, guys? I am back with the second game that we're going to see on Sunday. Yes, if anybody paid attention to the end of my Bucks and Eagles preview video, I had my worries that the 49ers were going to get their injury report in time for me, and they did. So, shout out to San Francisco for getting that timely sent out for me so I can line up these videos in order of how these games are going to get played this weekend. So obviously that's what you guys are here for. So let me go ahead and get into it. We got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Dallas to face the Cowboys. Now this game is going to start at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So you guys, that game's going to be starting not too long after that first game between the Bucks and Eagles wraps up. And this will be the first time that these two teams face each other. This is actually the only game this weekend that we're seeing the first matchup between the two opponents, and that's happening in the playoffs. Now, let me go ahead and take a quick look at these injury reports. For the 49ers, there are four people that are questionable. This is probably the first name is the biggest name for them. It's their linebacker, Aziza Al-Shahir. He is questionable with the knee. Marcel Harris with his Achilles. Talanoa Hofanga is with his knee as well. And then Mitch Wishnowsky with a concussion. Now, that is somewhat notable. That is their punter. He had to miss their game last week, and Robbie Gould, their kicker, was forced to punt. But then when I was reading up on that, they did sign a punter to their practice squad. So if Mitch is unable to go on Sunday, they'll obviously get that guy on the active roster. So they actually have a punter on the field, because that would definitely impact the game if Robbie Gould is punting, because it's not that easy to go between both punting and kicking as much as some people think it might be an easy thing to do. Now the Cowboys, this is notable. Keanu Neal, who's been more of a linebacker slash safety for them this year, he is out with a chest and shoulder, which is big time because he's really good against the run. And that's obviously the bread and butter of the San Francisco 49ers offense. And then that's going to put more on the other guys to help cover George Kittle, because he would also help out with those responsibilities as well. So that is a notable name that's going to be out for that Dallas defense on Sunday. Now, let's go ahead and get right into this preview. I'm going to do it like I've done all of them. So you guys have been riding this wave with me. You already know what to expect. I am going to start with the San Francisco offense against that Dallas Cowboys defense. So let's first start with the San Francisco offense. As far as the numbers, when you look at this, they've been a top 10 offense in terms of production for yardage. That's more slightly leaned towards the running attack. That's obviously expected with Kyle Shanahan as the head coach, but they are still within a top 12 offense as far as their passing attack, and then they rank in the top half of the league in terms of points. So going over that really quick. Total yards per game, they get 375.7 yards a game. That's seventh in the NFL, as well as that's seventh in the NFL is their rushing attack with 127.4, and then their passing attack 248.3 yards a game. That ranks 12th in the league. And then you look at their points per game, they've been averaging 25.1, so a little over about 3.5 touchdowns a game. This team averages, and that ranks 13th in the league. And then you take a look at the Cowboys numbers. Now, this is where when you kind of look at this, you're like, oh man, the 49ers offense is probably going to have a good day moving the ball against them when you do look at the numbers, because as a numbers standpoint, this is a bottom half of the league defense that will allow you to move the ball. Not allow, that's probably a bad word to use, but you get what I'm saying. This defense, you can put the ball up in the air against them, and you can put the ball on the ground against them, and you can put yourself in scoring position. But then when you look at the points per game, they can somewhat get stout when it does get closer to the red zone. So just running over the numbers really quick, the Dallas Cowboys defense has been allowing 351 yards a game. That's 19th in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 112.8. That's 16th in the NFL. So they are right there in the middle as far as a rushing defense. And then their passing yards per game, they've been giving up 238.2, which is 19th in the NFL. But like I mentioned, their points per game that they give up, only 21.1 points a game, and that's the 7th best in the league. So that's where you're kind of looking at is how often can this 49ers offense take advantage of when they get down in the red zone. So what you're going to look at, Trent Williams isn't back in the lineup, so that's huge. That's going to be such a huge boost for that rushing attack with Elijah Mitchell. And obviously, that's what they're going to lean on. We've seen the 49ers in their Super Bowl run a couple years ago. Remember that game against the Packers where Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball like 10 times. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Cowboys defense defends them because if I was the Cowboys, I would do everything in my power to sell out against the run. I would look to do my best to bottle up that rushing attack. Now, obviously, Deebo Samuel is such a unique talent, so that's another guy they have to somewhat keep in check because he can affect the outcome of this game just from a simple screenplay. He can get them right down in the into the red zone, or he can take a quick slant route. And if he gets the thing with Deebo though is if he gets on that Cowboys turf there down in Dallas and he gets in the open field and he has some room to work, it's going to be a long day for the Cowboys defense because he's so hard to tackle in open space because he's so strong. He's so elusive with the speed, and then with him, he can just. We saw it this past weekend against the Rams on that turf. It's kind of a similar field when you think about it. So this could be setting up for a good Deebo game. But what I'm trying to get at is if the Cowboys defense could, I don't know, step up against the run and really force this game on Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that's where they can win this game because Jimmy Garoppolo has played fine this year. He definitely, obviously, he was a big factor in helping getting San Francisco to turn around their season. Remember, at the midpoint of the year, it looked like they were more likely going to miss the playoffs. He started playing efficient football. The rushing attack started going. He started benefiting when George Kittle got back in the lineup. Brandon Ayuk started playing some good football. And that offense was able to move the ball. But then he is liable for turning the ball over. He had a fumble and an interception against the Rams last week. So that's just a week ago. So Trayvon Diggs is a ball hawk, but he also is liable to give up big passing attack plays. But if Trayvon can continue that pick success and maybe jump on a route, that can flip this game upside down for the Cowboys' favor. With that being said, though, I always love Kyle Shanahan's brain. He is a opening drive script. I guarantee in this game, whether they get the first drive, the opening drive of the game, or they get the drive after the Cowboys kick off the game, they're literally going to march down the field and score a touchdown. That's what's going to happen. They're going to do that easily. So I know they're good for one touchdown. But I do think against this defense, like I said, you can move the ball pretty easily, in my opinion, against them. And I think they're going to be able to get that 3 touchdown mark. Now, where it's going to come into favor, though, is this is another team where they can't get comfortable with just scoring, 3 touchdowns. That Cowboys offense can put up points. So if their defense is unable to keep the Cowboys offense in check, I could see the Cowboys offense, again, I'm going to run over here quickly, but I could see that Cowboys offense scoring 4+ touchdowns on Sunday with how explosive they can be. So with that being said, they cannot just, they have to get to, and I think in order for San Francisco to win this game, this offense not only has to get to 4+ touchdowns, Jimmy Garoppolo cannot turn the ball over because I think if he ends up getting hit on a fumble or if he ends up turning the ball over in a crucial point of the game, that's going to end up costing the 49ers this matchup, and they're going to be outside looking in, and they're going to be joining the rest of the teams that are going to Cabo or going on fishing trips right now. But with that being said, I do think they can get at least a 3 touchdown mark. I just wonder if they can get above their average that they've been doing this season and try to get at least one more touchdown and get to 28+ points. And then I think they'll have an opportunity to maybe kick a game-winning field goal at the end of this matchup. Now let's take a look at the Cowboys offense against that 49ers defense. Take a look at, like I said, the Cowboys offense, you're going to have to keep up with them because they are so explosive as they have been throughout the year. Taking a look at the numbers, total yards per game, they average 470 yards a game, number 1 in the NFL. Their rushing attack is a top 10 rushing attack. They've been average 124.6 yards a game. That's 9th in the NFL. Tony Pollard is no longer has any injury designations. He's probably a month removed from when he tore his that I think it was a plantar fascia. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but he tore something in his foot, which kind of hampered his play. So you're going to see that 1-2 punch between Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, which can, completely wear down a defense when both those guys are hitting on all cylinders. And then the passing attack with Dak has just got to be on point because Dak needs to put some consistency through all 4 quarters in this matchup. This year they though have been averaging 282.4 yards a game. That is second in the NFL. And then they put up points. 31.2 points a game from Dallas this year. That's number 1 in the NFL. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if everything is running on full cylinders with the rushing attack and the passing attack, and Dak is playing efficient football, keeping drives alive, keeping extending plays with his legs, and he's hitting Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb on their routes. He's got Dalton Schultz working. Cedric Wilson has been a nice little addition for this offense as well, especially because they're going to have to lean on him with Michael Gallup done for the year. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. Now, with that being said, the 49ers defense, I did not realize how good they've had a good year because they are so good up front. They're good against they're so front seven so good. I just don't trust their cornerbacks or their safety group. I still think you could throw the ball against them. But when you take a look at the numbers, it's been a top 10 unit this year. Total yards per game, only giving up 310 yards a game. That's 3rd best in the league. Their rushing defense only gives up 103.5 yards a game. That's 7th in the NFL. Their passing yards a game, 206.5 yards a game. That's 6th best in the NFL. I thought teams were throwing the ball more against them, to be quite honest. And then in terms of points per game, they've only given up 21.5, which is tied for 9th best in the league. So they're at top 10 in all 4 of those stats. So this has been it's been a better defense than what I thought it has been this year, to be quite honest. But I think it's because you got Nick Bosa, who rightly so deserves to be considered for the comeback player of the year. I love Nick Bosa. He's so good off the edge. And that's where I'm going to watch, like him against Tyron Smith. I know he's kind of up there in age, Smith as a tackle, but he's still one of the best in the league. So you got a strength on strength there. And if Nick can win those matches and really get some early pressure on Dak, that's where you can maybe try to hopefully maybe get those sacks, and maybe that can lead to some potential turnovers as well. If you could hit Dak when he's throwing the ball and that gets a tip ball up in the air, and one of your guys can get a hold of that ball. Now, I do think Dalton Schultz maybe has his struggles in this game. Man, I almost dropped the ball on that guy's name. Man, I am still dropping the ball, even though he's on the cover of the. No, that shows Nick Bosa. My bad. But yeah, so anyways, what I'm trying to say, Fred Warner, that's the name I'm going for. Really good coverage linebacker, right? So he can cover the middle of the defense. We'll have to see if Aziz Al-Shahir can go. That's his partner in crime. Drake Greenlaw is back in the lineup as well. He's a good, decent linebacker. Those guys can kind of control the middle of the defense. So I can see Dalton Schultz kind of being somewhat in check. And then where you could beat this team, like I said, I don't trust these cornerbacks. I really don't. I think you can throw the ball against. I know the numbers maybe say like, oh, they're a top 10 in terms of average yards per game, but we have seen teams that have been able to pick on these cornerbacks at times throughout the season. So I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have himself a huge game. I think they're going to probably end up trying to shift focus more on Amari because he's such more of an effective route runner, and I think that's going to allow for explosive, deep down the field passes on the boundary to CeeDee Lamb. And then I think what's going to happen too is like people forget about Cedric Wilson. He's got a knack for like kind of working himself in these open holes in defenses. And then when Dak is able to kind of connect with him and get to him early, this guy could take the ball with his speed and go down the field and within seconds, because he's got a really quick burst once he gets the ball in his hands. So with that being said, I think the Cowboys, I think they're going to be able to move the ball at times, but I think the 49ers defense is going to be able to like kind of bottle up things when it gets closer to the red zone, and it's going to come down to how efficient Dak Prescott can be in the red zone with his passes. Can he connect on those those corner routes or anything with CD or Amari, and can maybe Dalton Schultz kind of get some wiggle room against a guy like Fred Warner and get those touchdowns? I do think they're going to be able to score to 3. I think they can get to that 4 touchdown mark. I think that's what, like I said, that's that 4 touchdown mark between these two teams. I think that's going to come down to the wire. I think this is going to come down to the fourth quarter. I think I could see this game being like a 28-28 game in the fourth quarter. It's going to come down to who can get the ball last, maybe who can create a timely turnover. Well, guess what? The Cowboys led the league in takeaways this season. I'm gonna bet on that happening. And then Jimmy Garoppolo. I know Jimmy has played fine this year, but Trey Lance is still in the background, and it seem like eventually there's gonna have to be a reason why San Francisco has to officially move on to Trey Lance. Could you not see, Jimmy Garoppolo dropping the bag in the fourth quarter, maybe throwing an untimely interception, maybe a DeMarcus Lawrence or a Micah Parsons comes off the edge and lights him up for a fumble, and that gives the Cowboys really good field goal position? I think that's going to happen. And I think, I know he's had his problem. Now, here's the thing. Greg Zuerlein has struggled with field goals this year. I know Cowboys fans he thinks he might be the reason why they lose a game in the playoffs. And who knows? Maybe I'm about to be wrong, but I think Greg the Leg Zuerlein's back. He ends up kicking a game-winning field goal. Cowboys end up winning this game 31-28. That's my prediction. Now, Greg misses that field goal and Robbie Gould ends up kicking the field goal. I can see that happening. Like I said, I think this is going to come down to the fourth quarter. Whoever has the ball last, maybe whoever can create a timely turnover late in the fourth quarter to give their team a shot to go kick that game-winning field goal. Again, I'm picking the Cowboys in this one. I think they're set to go on a decent run in this playoffs. So I'm picking the Cowboys. They won a 31-28 win. So yeah, that is to this video for the Sunday game previews. If you enjoyed this video, as always, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with the last couple wildcard preview videos that I will be doing this weekend. And then you can keep up with all my playoff preview videos. And as I keep on saying, I'm going to be doing some draft-related content as that gets closer and possible some other off-season content between now and then. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. You guys already know if you did watch the previous video, but I will be dropping my Steelers versus Chiefs video after this. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming out tonight. This is Friday night when I'm recording that. And then I will be doing my Rams and Cardinals preview video tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that as well. I'm going to get out. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.